Nice breaths in the mid-70s. The sea breaks nearby, against the Promenade des Anglais, and the sun beats down on the clear facades, stubborn, relentless. In the air floats a smell of salt, exhaust fumes, laundry drying in the windows. The city stretches between the hill and the sea, dense, tight, as if every stone wants to keep its place in this too narrow setting. At the heart of this compact fabric is the center, Place Masséna, its arcades, its cobblestones reflecting the heat. Not far, just a few steps away, 29 Boulevard Albert-1er. The buses pass, the cars slow down, the passers-by come and go, shopping bags in hand, beach towels under the arm. People speak loudly, laugh, haggle. This artery is a corridor of life. There, on the ground floor of a building with floors lined with windows, drawn curtains, narrow balconies where sheets dry, a sober storefront imposes itself, clear as an injunction. Société Générale. A branch like any other, thinks the passerby. A regional branch, says the employee. But behind the discreet windows, behind the desks where employees in shirts stamp, file, discuss rates and signatures, another world sinks. Under the feet of the customers, under the heels of the secretaries, under the marble of the hall, in the basement, rests the vault. A blind room, heavy with silence, encircled by thick walls. It has no window, no view of the sea. It has better, oblivion and steel. A time-locked vault door, whose mechanism obeys the clock more than the human hand. Individual safes, squeezed together like an army of mute boxes. Each contains a fragment of life, carefully stacked bills, jewelry passed from mother to daughter, bearer bonds, prestigious watches, bundles of documents stored in anonymous folders. Behind this room, in the shadow, another network insinuates itself. Under the concrete, under the cellars, under the parking lots, the city has its entrails, pipes, conduits, sewers, technical galleries. Water glides there. The world's murmur descends weakened. These underground passages have no names on the storefronts. They ignore the windows. They meander, wait, accept the mud, the rats, the heavy odors. They have no locks, almost no guards. One slips through them by a manhole cover, a cellar, a forgotten room. It's the hidden face of Nice, overlooked by few, ignored by almost all. Yet, in those years, France already knows that money attracts violence. Facing these threats, the Brigade de Répression du Banditisme, the BRB, stands as a rampart. With the judicial police, it hunts down major crime, follows the rumors of smoky cafes, intercepts conversations in back rooms, lines up files, photographs faces. The police fight against robbers who love noise, speed, gunpowder. They expect frontal assaults, shootouts at dawn, chases on the ring road. They expect violence, not silence. At 29 Boulevard Albert-1er, Société Générale operates with this logic. It's a large national bank whose roots extend across the country. Here, in Nice, the regional branch manages the money of residents, shopkeepers holding stores 2 streets away, lawyers, notaries, doctors, local entrepreneurs. Regulars enter, greet, sign, deposit. Employees know their first names, their stories, their habits. Everything seems ordinary, almost familiar. He was born far from here, in the cold of December 1932, in Laragne-Montéglin, in the Haute-Alpes. A village surrounded by mountains, where the wind bites the cheeks, where life is harsh, where one learns early that nothing is obtained without struggle. The war, the tremors of the century, forge a world where the boundaries blur between heroism and violence. Young, Spaggiari seeks elsewhere what his village does not give him. He joins the Foreign Legion. There, in Indochina, according to the stories that circulate afterward, he discovers the humidity of jungles, the brutality of a distant war, comrades who fall, orders that are not questioned. He learns to be patient, to walk long, to do without comfort, to listen to the night, to survive. His name, very early, already crosses the paper of the courts. A robbery in the 50s, conviction, the shadow of the record. He knows prisons, judges, slamming doors. He watches, understands, hardens. The man who comes out is no longer the one who went in. Then he comes to Nice. The city offers him another face, the light, the tourists, the couples on the beach, the elderly on the benches. Spaggiari opens a photo studio downtown. Clear sign, Photographie Spaggiari. He frames smiles, weddings, sober portraits. Families pose before his lens. Elected officials, sometimes, pass before his flash. The shopkeepers of the neighborhood know him. A former legionnaire turned photographer. The story intrigues, almost reassures. They greet this diligent, polite, discreet shopkeeper. Yet, beneath this image, another network is forming. Spaggiari frequents certain circles where the currency is not always declared. Bars, backrooms, hidden corners of Nice's night. He crosses paths with figures of organized crime, from Marseille, from Nice. The names are whispered more than they are written. Some are already flagged for thefts, receiving stolen goods, robberies. They drink together, observe each other, assess. He is not a visible kingpin, not yet a legend, but he navigates these murky waters with ease. He listens more than he speaks. His public reputation, until the heart of the 70s, remains modest. A shopkeeper, a former soldier. Nothing to attract the national cameras. And yet, around him, silently, a nucleus is forming. A group of hard, patient men, attracted by the promise of an extraordinary heist. Some come from Marseille, others from Nice. The police often know them already, through files, records, black and white photographs. These silhouettes have robbed, stolen, offloaded. They know how to change cars, find a hideout, negotiate a weapon. To this nucleus, other profiles are grafted. Calloused hands, men from construction sites, earth workers, plumbers, construction workers, guys who know the language of earth, concrete, pipes. They know how to dig without collapsing, to pierce a slab, to breathe in a hole. Their knowledge doesn't come from books, but from days spent in dust, in sweat, in muddy urban site trenches. Around them hover even more discreet silhouettes. Little hands, renting a place, carrying bags, buying equipment in several installments under various names. They watch a street, note the passing of police cars, memorize the closing hours of a shop. They are the logistics of an army without uniforms. At the center, it is Spaggiari who aggregates, gathers, gives shape. The idea is born from observation, from patience, from a gaze descending beneath the cobblestones. He understands that banks barricade themselves forward, but leave the depths open. He hears about the sewer networks under Nice, technical galleries running along the foundations. He knows that, down there, Alarms do not scream. The vault of the Société Générale, perched above these bowels, becomes more than a place, a promise. A heist without armed violence. A theft that occurs far from eyes, when the city sleeps, when shop shutters are closed, when employees have gone home to their families. The target is not the teller's cash box, but the sacred room where hundreds of vaults rest. There concentrates the gold of a city. Reconnaissances. They observe the bank's facade, its hours. They note at what time employees arrive, at what time they leave. The evening lights, the closing of the shutters. They scrutinize police patrols in the neighborhood, regular routes, habits. Where do they pass? How frequently? What is the breadth of this corner of the city? They learn to match it. While some monitor the surface, others focus on the depths. Plans circulate, fragmentary, sometimes official, sometimes extracted from places that are not named. Plans of sewers, conduits, galleries. Where can they approach? How close does the first accessible underground corridor pass to the vault? They study, trace, reconstruct the puzzle. Where plans lack, they guess. They explore. Boots on feet, lamps in hand, they descend into the shadows, count steps, measure heights, evaluate the thicknesses of concrete above their heads. The calendar then becomes a weapon. They know time is needed, that a simple night will not suffice if the concrete is too thick, if the iron frames resist. A weekend is needed where the bank stays closed, a moment when life turns away from the counters. France has its sacred days, among them July 14th, National Day. Parades, fireworks, popular dances on squares. In 1976, it falls on a Wednesday. Around it, the city slows down. Some take a long weekend, absent themselves longer. Summer weighs the air, prompts departures. Summer 1976 enters minds like a window. The extended weekend around July 14th imposes itself as the strategic moment. The branch closes, alarms up, locks the vault. Employees return home, reassured by the armored door, the internal clock, the bolts closing with a sharp sound. They leave behind the vaults well arranged, aligned like soldiers at attention. A lot of material is needed. Men gather drilling tools, jackhammers, or perforators capable of biting into concrete. Jacks to support, move, adjust. Lamps to tame the darkness of the underground. Ventilation devices to breathe where the air stagnates, to chase away gases, dust. Pumps in case the water rises. They stack food, water, supplies to last several hours, maybe several days, locked between concrete walls and slabs. Mattresses, blankets are provided, to lie down without ever really relaxing. But the first battle is played out on the surface, far from the safes. A discreet access point to the underground network is needed. A manhole in a dark street, a forgotten cellar, a utility room rented under a banal pretext.
It must be close, but not too close, to avoid drawing attention to the bank. At a reasonable distance, however, to transport the loot without exhausting themselves, without making so many round trips as to betray themselves. While some are already digging, others are on watch. External surveillance is organized. Accomplices remain on the surface, scattered. One at a street corner, another seated at a cafe terrace, a third in a parked car with an unfolded newspaper. They don't look at the sea. They watch for uniforms, flashing lights, heavy footsteps, two curious glances. A whistle, a sign. A simple, hasty departure can suffice to warn those who, below, wield the hammer.
They know. It's not a matter of hours, but maybe days. They prepare to stay long in the dampness and clammy heat of the city's belly. Roles are distributed. Those who drill, those who transport, those who tend to the equipment, those who rest in shifts, lying on a mattress set in the tunnel. Communication is done in whispers, by agreed signals. They monitor the noise. Every sledgehammer blow must be thought out, every use of the jackhammer measured, like a breath held to avoid being heard on the surface. For above them, Société Générale guards one of the region's greatest treasures. In the vault room are amassed fortunes shattered into fragments. Cash, in the form of thick wads, neatly arranged in envelopes. Jewelry that glistens as soon as a ray of light touches it. Precious metals, ingots, heavy, cold. Bonds, papers, securities, whose value exceeds that of the metals they could purchase. Luxury watches, gold coins, miniature art objects, family heirlooms that are priceless only to those who deposited them. Hundreds of clients entrust here what they hold most dear, and sometimes what they wish to hide. Police will know later. It's difficult to evaluate the loot when some dare not say what they have lost. Some safes may have contained undeclared money, compromising documents, wealth whose very existence would have posed a question. Silence already weighs on what will be counted, on what will never be counted. What is certain is the potential magnitude. Several tens of millions of francs, say the estimates. A sum that, for the time, defies understanding, crushes all benchmarks. The press will call it the heist of the century. The police themselves, seasoned, will later describe it as one of the greatest thefts in French criminal history. But beyond the money, the symbol is immense. It is not just a bank being targeted. It is an institution, a promise. They will attack the very idea of security, of inviolability. They will break into the vault room without weapons, without screams, without hostages. They will demonstrate that, even in the heart of its walls, even under the weight of its steel doors, the bank is not invincible. The risks, however, are terrible. The penal code does not joke with organized band theft. Breaking in, intrusion into a banking institution, meticulous preparation. All this promises years of imprisonment, far beyond a few months. Those who embark on this know they are risking their lives as free men. They know that if they fail, the doors that will close on them will not open anytime soon. But something, stronger than fear, pushes them toward this project. The lure of gain, the thirst for challenge, the pride of striking a symbol, everything is intertwined. At the center, Albert Spaggiari looks one last time at the facade of the bank, its counters, its anonymous clients. He already knows the galleries that crawl under the boulevard. He has seen the weakness. He has measured it. He now knows that the time is approaching.